What is up, everybody? So, this is going to be the third episode of my vlog series where I explain what happened on my 70 college basketball game tour I did years ago. So, if you haven't watched the first two episodes, I'd recommend that you check those out before watching this one. But anyway, I left you guys off when I attended my second game in Seattle, Washington. So, that was the end of day 3 of the basketball tour because I'd skipped a day. And now I'm on day 4. So I'm going from Seattle to Eugene, Oregon. I'm going to be seeing the Oregon Ducks play that night. But that afternoon, when I woke up in somewhere south of Seattle, and drove down to Eugene, on the way is Portland again. And Portland's going to be one of those kind of what I'm calling core cities where I'll be in and then go to a campus that evening, but I'll stay in a core city to DoorDash. Spokane was one of those cities, and Portland's another one. So I'm DoorDashing in Portland, Oregon, and I'm pretty sure it's raining that day too. I don't think there was a sunny day in Portland, which, with what I've heard about Portland, Oregon, that tracks. So Portland, Oregon was the first city I've been in where they had this Dash Mart. And what a Dash Mart is kind of like this small, I don't want to call it a building. It's just like a small, not even a restaurant. I don't know what it is. It's like just a small building that you go to. And it's got like a bunch of restaurants that drop off their DoorDashes at that Dash Mart. And so I occasionally get DoorDash orders there. Go to that Mart, put in a code, open the door, and get their DoorDash order. And I had one customer. Would it be a customer? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I had a customer that that had asked for sauce, and it's one of those Dash Marts. So I mean, whatever's in that bag is what you're getting. So I'm like, I don't have the sauce for that. Sorry about that. He's like, well, I'm gonna give you a 1 star. And I'm like, whatever, I can't do anything about it. And I never saw that 1 star, by the way. So I did get some 1 stars on DoorDashes from time to time, and some were my fault, some were not. Anyway, as long as I didn't get more than a couple of those, it was all right. And I had if I had like 50 ratings, 45 of them were 5 stars, so I was good. So anywho, Portland wasn't quite as good as Spokane, but it was an all right city for DoorDashing. And I'd be there a couple of times, so I'd get used to Portland, Oregon. But so yeah, I DoorDash in Portland, and then a few hours before the game, I think it's a little less than 2-hour drive south, so probably around 4 I would have stopped DoorDashing, and I would have headed down to Eugene, Oregon. So I fill up for gas in Eugene, Oregon. And by the way, like, I hadn't mentioned much about the gas on this tour yet, but gas is pretty high right now. And it's really high in California. When I get further in the vlog, I'll explain that. But yeah, gas is really expensive. Or you know what? I take it back. For my perspective, it's expensive because I'm used to Alabama gas prices, and West Coast prices are a lot higher than Alabama's gas prices. So I'm already eating a little bit into my budget with gas. I don't even know how much it is. But let's see. So you'd probably going across the state, Spokane to Seattle. I think that would be about it. Would I have had to stop? I know like Portland to Seattle I would not have, but I'm gonna say Spokane to Seattle, it would be a full tank of gas. I have a Corolla, so it gets pretty decent gas mileage. So which, yeah, my gas was cheaper in my Corolla than if I had like a minivan or anything. But anyway, enough of that. I'm in Eugene, Oregon at a gas station. And Oregon, see, Oregon has a law that someone has to pump your gas for you. But I thought I remember pumping my own gas here. I don't remember for sure. But I do remember going inside, and I think I might have had something with Alabama on it. So because I was talking to like the checkout woman. I guess I was getting a bite to eat. I guess that was gonna be my dinner that night. And I was talking to the checkout lady, and we were talking about I think she was mentioning something about the Oregon Ducks, because this is like November. This is November, so it's a prime college football season. And she's mentioning something about Oregon. I'm mentioning that I'm from Alabama, and probably said something like, hopefully we meet in the national championship game or something like that. It was a great conversation. So, and that gas station's right outside the University of Oregon. So, and I'll mention one other thing. Like, I really like that part of Oregon. I didn't really like Portland, but everything south of Portland to the California border, I love that part of the country. I would say, like, I would really love to live in Salem, Oregon, which I'll see later on. Like, Eugene would be great. Anything south of Portland, though. Like, I don't want to live in Portland, but south of Portland, that was just beautiful. I love that. And that's like pure beauty. That's not like manufactured beauty. So, yeah. For one of my favorite places, Oregon, south of Portland. So, anyway, I pull into Eugene, Oregon. Pull into the University of Oregon. And there's some paid parking. It's only $5, but I find out that it's cash only, which I'm kind of surprised by, because it's a big school. And most big schools have gone to card, but I had to go find an ATM, get some cash, then go back to that parking spot because it's $5. I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna risk it with free parking. Don't quibble over $5 here if you're doing all this traveling. So pay the $5 in cash and go inside. Then I got my ticket on the upper level for Matthew Knight Arena. I didn't pay. I paid about $20 for it, maybe less than that. And the opponent was SMU, and SMU had been good the prior season, so I was actually kind of looking forward to that matchup. The game ended up being a blowout, or Oregon won very easily. But let's see. I did find some writings on the, not the seat itself, but like the wall behind the seat. I don't remember what they said, but one of them was explicit, and I put it in the video, and I thought it was funny. So, yeah, but one interesting thing about Matthew Knight Arena is was at the time they had the trees on the basketball court. I think they got rid of it this past season or the season before that, but they used to have this court with like the shades of the trees, and a lot of people online hated that court. I didn't really, it wasn't too bad for me, from my perspective. But one thing I was annoyed was like a lot of these courts had like the old 3-point line still on it, and Oregon had like half of that line on it, and that bothered me more than anything else. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, Matthew Knight Arena was a pretty new arena. I think it opened in like 2011 or something like that. Let me get a drink real quick. So, but yeah, it was a pretty, pretty beautiful area, arena. It was a new arena. It better look like a nice arena. Seats were actual seats. Looks like a small professional arena, which is what all new arenas will look like. So, I think that's just about it for University of Oregon. So, Then the next day, so that would have been a Friday night. So next game is going to be a Saturday afternoon at the University of Portland. That's going to be the Portland Pilots. And obviously that morning I'm going to go back to DoorDashing again. And yeah, I think at this time, okay, no, it's going to be later. I had a thought, but it's going to come later. So obviously do some more DoorDashing in Portland. Get a little more funds. And then that afternoon, I'm going to say that was probably a 3 p.m. tip. So probably would have stopped DoorDashing 1:30. Get to the University of Portland. And they're playing Alcorn State, the same team that I saw in the opener against Washington State. So that arena, so this will be the fourth one. This is the first one that's not a power team, by the way. University of Portland. So they play at the Child Center, and I know like it had a track underneath the bleachers, and a lot of people said it looked nice. Now, I was actually kind of disappointed in the Child Center. Like when I went inside when I was on the bleachers, they kind of felt kind of rickety a little bit, like they could cave in at any point. And I might they probably were sound. I just the way that the bleachers kind of felt, they didn't feel the safest. But a lot of people say when they watch Portland Pilots games on, they like the arena, and in person it wasn't my favorite. Part of it might have been the game itself, but actually this is probably the first game that's actually ends up being competitive that I see on the tour. I mean, these are both lower level schools, so it's like a 6-point game. It ends up being like a 6-point game with like a minute to go, and actually my recording ends early. Like I don't get the end of the game, and unlike the game against Washington, unlike the Washington game where I cut off the last second because of a ref error, this one was actually on me because I actually did record the end of it, but the way I was filming these games at the time, I accidentally deleted that last clip, and so I didn't get it. So the way I was recording games at the time, I film all the games with iMovie, which I still use that process. I still use iMovie for every vlog I've ever made, but I was using like the actual camera on the iMovie app, and so you had the option, like if you didn't like the clip that you filmed, you can just delete that clip and the clip goes away. See, what I do nowadays is I use my camera app to record the clip, and the upside to that is the quality. When you use the camera app, the quality is higher, but the downside is those clips that you don't use, they stay on your camera roll, and you have to go back in and delete those clips. And and my brother used the term live editing. That's more of a pain in the butt to deal with. You have all those clips you have to delete, and you don't want to have like a bunch of clips on your phone that you're not using, because I only had a limited amount of space on my phone. So, and that's my phone. So I mean, I'm using, I'm calling people. I'm texting, doing my DoorDash on that phone. Everything's happening on that phone. So my space is fairly limited, and I don't have any B-roll on any of these games because of it. Because I would edit these videos, and then I put that on my Google Drive, and once I have that video on Google Drive, I delete every video off my phone, and it's all gone. So anyway, let me get back on track here. So because I'm deleting videos I don't think I'm going to use, I accidentally delete the the end of that game clip, but I promise you I was there for the end of it. But yeah, I believe, Portland won by 6, I believe. But it was a really good game. So that's the University of Portland. I did love the exterior of the Chalice Center. That looked really cool. It's kind of like a dome, and I'd see that mini dome several times at several campuses. But yeah, I did like the exterior of it. I didn't like the bleachers, but court design was good enough. I mean, I do like black and purple. So that's Portland Pilots. Oh, one other thing. A fun fact I learned about the University of Portland was like, I don't know what it's called, but like the same group that founded the University of Portland also founded the University of Notre Dame in Indiana. You know, the Fighting Irish. So that was a fun fact I learned about Portland. Yeah. Apparently Portland's Catholic. So let's see. Is there anything else about Portland? Portland Pilots. I don't know if it's that one or not. Like, oh yeah, I think I also like committed the cardinal sin of having my flash on during the starting lineups there, and that was unintentional. So like after that episode, I'm always like making sure that my flash is not on my camera. But my bad, Portland. And that was during the starting lineup, so I didn't impact the game. Don't worry. So I think that's it from Portland. Now, this is where this vlog gets interesting, because the day after, I scheduled myself to go to Montana State. That's a Sunday game. This is Saturday at 3, so the game ends at 5. And then I have a Montana State game that begins at 1. But that's Mountain Time. This is 5 Pacific. So 1 Mountain Time, 12 Pacific. I have 17 hours between the ending of the Portland game and the beginning of the Montana State game. So I'm hauling ass straight to Bozeman, Montana right after this Portland game. And I think another thing, like, I'm trying to conserve battery on my battery, so I cut off my lights by accident. So like I turn on my lights and then sun's going down at this point, so I don't realize I had my lights off. So like police, so one of the Portland police when I'm leaving Portland is on the side of me. He's like flashing lights. I'm like, and he's close to me, but I'm like he can't be talking about me here. And officer keeps flashing his lights beside me. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And then I turn off because I'm like, why is an officer following me? Just like right at the time that yeah, this is kind of a mess up. Kind of funny, kind of, it's not really messed up, but kind of stupid on my part. So yeah, officer is not really following me, but he's on my side, trying to get my attention, but I'm not realizing it because I have my lights off and I should have them on. And so I turn off one of the intersections because I don't want a police following me, which that's really dumb. You don't get off an interstate when the police is following you. They're gonna think you're doing something illegal. And then I realize eventually, I'm like, okay, I finally realize, okay, my lights are off. I'm like, oh, that's awkward. Turn the lights back on, get back on the interstate, start going all the way through Wash back. Yeah, gotta go up middle of the Oregon-Washington border, go back through Spokane, go back through Idaho, go all the way through Montana. And I'm doing that drive all night long. And I must have I never had energy drinks in my life until that drive, because I'm doing like 12 or 13 hours driving straight through. And because I need to figure out how I'm gonna get to Bozeman, Montana, and then somehow get 4 hours of sleep. So let me think here. So yeah. So so I get through Oregon pretty quickly. I get through Spokane that night, and then I think I'm wondering if it was snowing or not. Like at this point, once I get past Coeur d'Alene, I'm going through mountains here. So yeah, I'm sure it was snowing. Early November, mid-November at this point. So yeah, it probably would have been snowing here. So I gotta be a little careful here. Yeah, get behind a truck here, which is fun. And I think some point on the drive, I'm like, okay, I gotta stay up. And so I become reminded of this video that the Impractical Jokers did years ago, where, well, not a video, it was a prank that they did on one of the Jokers, where they had puppets in the car, and they made who was it? I think it was Q. Yeah, I think it was Q. He had to drive with puppets in the car singing, "Drive, drive, 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 drive. It feels so good to be alive. Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5." And he had to listen to that for like 12 hours straight. So I'm by myself on the road, and I look on YouTube. That's that Impractical Jokers song. I just play that song while I'm driving, and I get about a couple hours of the way through that until my service goes out. So I don't know how he did that for 12 straight hours. That's crazy to me. Anyway, I make that drive through Montana all night, and yeah, Bozeman's in the middle of the state, so yeah. So when I'm pulling in, sun's coming up, and I pull into and I get to Bozeman. Yeah, I get there about 8 in the morning, Mountain. So it would have been 7 or 8 in the morning. And okay, I'm gonna give myself 4 hours of rest here at a rest stop nearby. So I pull into that rest stop. I've been on energy drinks all night, so I shut my eyes. Somehow I do get the 4 hours of sleep. I don't know how I did that, because I usually cannot sleep with all that light. But I guess when you're tired enough, you do it. And I made sure I set my alarm, because I need to make sure I wake up. So about a couple hours before the tip here, wake up, and then head off to Montana State, and they're playing some money game. It's like some D2 or NAIA opponent or something like that. And Montana State plays in an indoor track and field facility that they put bleachers in. It's the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse, and when I got there, it was so windy. Like, I think my hat's coming off, and every time I try to walk, and I didn't. That was the first day. I think the only day I did not have a shower, because my focus was rest, and I wasn't too dirty, so just chanced it there. And that was like the first game I didn't also wear my mask, because remember, like, some states are big on COVID, some are not, and Washington and Oregon were, Montana was not. So I don't have to wear my mask here, so that's interesting. Oh, and another thing, I totally forgot about this. Like, there's vaccine cards for half of these games. I'll bring that up in the next episode, but yeah, all these states are requiring me to wear masks. They're also requiring me to show my vaccine card. that I had my two COVID shots that I took months ago. How did I forget that? Yeah, for like years after that, like I had that picture of that card. Yeah, that's just crazy to me now that I was doing that. I was like having to show people, okay, I'm vaccinated here to attend a sporting event. Yeah, but that's I'll cover that. I'll make sure to bring that up in future episodes here, especially when I get to California. But yeah, but we're in one of those arenas that doesn't care. So Montana State, I go into the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse. Actually a decent amount of people there. I think it's a local, whoever they were playing, I'm pretty sure it was a local school. It's Bozeman something, I think it was. Or Montana something. Okay, I don't remember. But game wasn't expensive. Parking was free. I did like that when the players came out, they had like they came out of like an inflatable bobcat because the mascot's the Bobcats, and that was kind of cool to see the bobcat get inflated. Actually, I think the game was close in the first half, and then Montana State pulled away in the second. And that tends to happen in these D1 versus just regular college, D1 versus smaller college schools. Like some of these, especially like if it's D2, like the D2 will have top level talent that can compete, but D1 just has depth. So, yeah, so like I said, the Montana State Arena, Brick Breeden Fieldhouse, it's a track and field facility underneath. And they just put a basketball court on top of it. I don't think anything interesting happened in the game itself. Montana State won. And I just want to emphasize that that might not have been the longest drive I did, but that was the combination of the longest drive with the smallest amount of time I had. And I scheduled it that way because I knew, like, as the tour went along, I would eventually get tired of these long drives. And so that was an opportunity for me to get a long drive out pretty early when I was really excited. So, smart move by me. And that was the only time in the upper part of the West that I'd had to do that. So that worked out. And let's see. So I think that's all there was to Montana State. So, and that's a Sunday afternoon. So here's what will happen. Like, you have Sunday afternoon games, and if you have a Monday game, that's going to be a night game. So that kind of resets your week after the Sunday afternoon game. So, which means, yeah, you kind of lose time going to the Sunday game, and then you're going to gain it Sunday afternoon. So you have all the rest of that Sunday afternoon to go back to go to Spokane. I think I did make it to Spokane that night. And yeah, that would make sense for tomorrow. But that's I'm gonna leave it there. So I'm gonna leave us, me having completed the first week of the tour, departing Montana State, and I will continue with the next part of the tour in the next episode. So that's it for me tonight. I'll see you in the next episode.